from then on, Nimrod could not shake the feeling that the world around him was not what it seemed. The priests spoke of the gods as benevolent rulers, and the ziggurats were said to be bridges between heaven and earth. But to Nimrod, these gods felt like prison gods and the ziggurats felt like chains. He began to seek out knowledge, esoteric text hidden away in temple vaults, fragments of stories passed down from wandering sages, and the whispered tales of a being called the Demiurge. The Demiurge. That word would haunt Nimrod's thoughts. The legends described a god who was no god, a creator who fashioned the world, but who did so not out of love or wisdom, but out of a desire to control. This being, the Demiurge, was said to have crafted the material world as a prison, binding souls to the earth and keeping them from their true potential. It was a force of deception, spinning a web of illusion that kept humanity blind to its own power, feeding on their worship, their obedience, their fear. And so Nimrod saw the world with new eyes. The sacrifices, the prayers, the fear, all of it fed into the Demiurge illusion. Humanity was not free. It was shackled to a lie. Nimrod kept his discoveries close, speaking only to a trusted circle. Among them was Semiramis, a high priestess of Inanna and a woman of sharp wit and profound insight. Where others saw only a temple ritual, she saw symbols and metaphors, a deeper language hidden within the rites. Together, they explored the mysteries of the old gods, dissecting their stories, searching for clues that would lead them closer to the truth. Semiramis spoke of ancient texts that hinted at a path beyond the gods, teachings that promised a way to transcend the material world and find the truth hidden behind the Demiurge's veil. As their understanding deepened, Nimrod began to gather others. Builders, warriors, philosophers, and scribes, those who had tasted the same restlessness and hunger for truth. And it was during one of these secret gatherings around a fire that burned like gold against the black night that Nimrod made his declaration. They would build a tower like none the world had ever seen, a tower that would pierce the veil of the heavens. It was the Tower of Babel, named for the Babylonian belief in the gate of the gods. This tower would not just be a structure. It would be a message to the heavens, a defiant cry against the chains that bound humanity to the earth. Stone by stone, the people of Shinar would raise it higher and higher, each layer lifting them closer to the truth that lay beyond the gods, beyond the stars. Nimrod believed that by reaching the heavens, they could break through the illusion of the Demiurge and see the world as it truly was. As Babel rose, so did Nimrod's follower. Thousands joined the effort, feeling a strange thrill in their bones, a sense that they were part of something greater than themselves. But the higher the tower climbed, the more the skies darkened. The priest warned of divine wrath, claiming that Nimrod's pride would bring destruction upon Shinar. They whispered of Enlil, the storm god, whose fury could rip the tower to its foundation, but Nimrod would not be dissuaded. He felt the Demiurge's presence more strongly each day, and he knew that if they stopped now, they would be surrendering to a force that sought to keep them chained. And so the fire grew. Nimrod's defiance became a beacon, a flame that lit up the world and drew the eyes of those who wished to awaken from the dream. It became clear that this was no simple rebellion. It was a war for the soul of humanity, a battle against a god who wore the mask of divinity but whose essence was deceit. This is the
story of Nimrod, the hunter who saw beyond the hunt, the king who challenged the gods, the man who would reach for the stars and risk everything to shatter the illusion that kept his people in chains. This is the story of a fire that burns so fiercely its flames can still be seen in the eyes of those who seek the truth. The story begins here, at the edge of the world where the first stones of Babel were laid.